Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination reading for the sign of Taurus. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at in today's reading, Taurus. We're going to be looking at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. We'll dive into a challenge or a block around that area of focus. We'll look at advice from Spirit as to how to overcome it, and then we'll look at a level of abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in for you in that area of focus. So let's jump right in. I hope you are all having a wonderful start to your December. Ooh, looks like it. So the energy you're coming in with here, Taurus, is the Ten of Cups. Beautiful energy. This is the energy of the happy family. This is the energy of someone who feels very blessed in what they have. It can be someone who has so much to be grateful for on an emotional level that they have enough to share with others. Now, for some of you, this could be where you're just you literally are feeling like you're blessed in your life, or you could be just in that energy getting ready to call in that level of abundance in your life. So we'll see what your soul wants to illuminate for you over here as I start to pull the remaining cards. Let's see. What does Taurus need to know? Ooh, the Empress. Beautiful energy. So that's what your soul's illuminating for you. Now, the Empress speaks to the energy of creation. It also speaks to the energy of holding space for what we would like to create in our experience. The number 3 is also associated with the Empress, which is the energy of creativity. It's the energy of, I like to look at it as the energy of greeting life with the innocence of a child. There's a sense of kind of wonder and awe with the number 3 of divinity. And there's also, along with creativity, it's also self-expression. So there's something here. Right now, the beautiful element of sitting with the Ten of Cups and the Empress is that you have a lot in your energetic pool right now to really create for yourself the life that you're seeking, the life that would feel like the Ten of Cups for you, which is the happy family card, or I like to look at it as almost creating a little piece of heaven on earth for yourself. What would that feel like for you? That's the Ten of Cups there. Now, there may be something here where you're being actually called to create. Some of you might actually be finding out that you're pregnant. These two cards can definitely relate to that. It can also be that you're also just in a highly creative place, and there's almost a sense of you have so much to be grateful for. What are you going to do with this? There's a sense of almost like, I look at it as almost like a seed, like you've planted a bunch of seeds, and you're in the energy of you can't wait to see when they all bloom what that experience is going to be like. Now, your main underlying energy is the Page of Wands, underscored by the Queen of Swords and the Hanged Man. So for many of you, there has been a change in perspective on your personal story. Queen of Swords is the energy of someone who understands what they've gone through in life, and it's someone who can speak to that. So meaning if someone was to ask you, what is the story of your, tell us who you are as an individual or what you've gone through. This could look like somebody who can sit there and say, I had a hard upbringing. I've faced so many challenges to finally get to where I am today. But where this can sometimes we can have a change in that perspective, a change in that story, meaning that we can sit there and maybe share the same story over and over again about ourselves, about how unlucky we are in love, or how unlucky we are in our work environment, or how we've had to overcome poverty, or we've had to overcome something. And we can speak to that, and then all of a sudden one day realize with the Hanged Man, when that comes in here, of, oh my gosh, my story has changed. Maybe now you are no longer that person who has been struggling for so long, and you're the person who's actually sitting, in a place where you can actually give to others. And suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, if people were to ask me my story now, my story is one of success instead of one of strife or struggle. It could be the same thing with, somebody who sits there and says they've been unlucky in love. They've gone through messy breakups and just have never been able to find someone. And then suddenly you find someone and you realize, oh my gosh, I found the perfect person. We've built a wonderful life together and I'm no longer the person who's unlucky in love. So there's something here around a telling of your own personal story, or even a sharing of your story that's going to change. Because with the Page of Wands coming in, there's a sense of a reconnection to that inner optimistic child at play, that individual who has that spark of inspiration and wants to go out and share it, wants to go out and just start to enjoy what there is to enjoy in life. And for many of you, this could literally be just that you're realizing, oh my gosh, my story I've told for so long is where I'm not free, or I can't create, or I don't have the time for this. And now all of a sudden you can sit there and say, you know what, I do have enough of time to start working with my creative passions. And you know what? I want to hold space for that book I want to write, or I want to hold space for the person of my dreams to come in. But there's something here very clear, Taurus, about a change in your own personal perspective. Also, they can also be a change in seeing what you've gone through in a new light, meaning that maybe in the past you always painted yourself as the victim, someone who was always maybe abused by their boss in a work environment, or someone who, again, was always on the worst end of a relationship, or someone who did have to struggle because they came from nothing, something along those lines, where all of a sudden you're realizing, you know what, if I hadn't come from nothing, I would never have been as motivated to get to where I am today. And boy, aren't I lucky, because when I look at other people who didn't have that same upbringing, and they have a different life experience, I count myself lucky. Or I count myself lucky that those previous relationships did not work out, because now I know so much about myself and I know enough about the person I want to meet and spend the rest of my life with, and I'm not going to stop until I'm with them. It could be something along those lines. But it's seeing something from a new perspective, and it's giving you the courage to go out there and have fun. That's the Page of Wands. So we're going to dive a little deeper. I'm going to pull some more cards now to see what this Empress, why your soul is asking you to really focus on this energy at this time. Your creativity, your ability to create, and again, your ability to hold space for what you would like to create in your experience, more of what you'd like to create in your experience. So let's see here. First, going to take a look at the block or challenge. So let's see, Taurus, what do you need to see? Okay, so we have the Three of Swords. Yeah, that would make sense. Three of Swords is where we're really sitting with the pain of the past. Three of Swords is heartbreak, pain, loss. It can be those wounds that we keep kind of replaying in our mental space that then come down to pierce us in our heart. It's where our mind kind of keeps us trapped in this place of heartbreak, even if those things are way in the past. Now, what I see here with the Three of Swords and the Fool, there's a sense of you have an opportunity to jump into something new. The Fool is the start of a new cycle. I always look at it as it's kind of like wiping the slate clean. It's the number 0 in the tarot, so it's the start again of the whole major arcana cycle. But it also speaks to releasing baggage. The Fool is ready to take a leap off a cliff, and when you think about that, if you're ready to take a leap off a cliff, you're not going to be sitting there carrying everything you own or all the baggage from the past. You're more focused on the fear of, oh my gosh, do I have the faith to do this? Do I have the faith to fully embrace this new start, to take this leap of faith? And there's a sense of like feeling the fear and doing it anyways. But for many of you, and here's the Tower. Interesting, because this came out in the same place for Leo. I just did Leo's reading a couple days ago, actually. And so you might be dealing with the Leo in your life. You could have a strong Leo placement as well. But the Tower coming in at the heart of your reading is saying it's time to release anything that is holding you back from truly, when we think of the Tower comes after the Devil card in the tarot. And it's because the tower represents us being freed from being trapped in the tower with the devil. And what the devil could represent is this Three of Swords. Are these heartbreaks, these wounds, these things? This is the devil whispering in your ear. You can't do it. You're not good enough. There's no one out there. If you knock down this wall, you let people in, they might not love you again. They might hurt you. If you knock down this wall and you take that leap into the new, you're going to leave behind all the safety and security. It's like that kind of whispering. And this is saying it's time to let the tower fall. It's time to let the people in who are meant to be there. And there's a sense of you blocking yourself from truly calling in what your soul knows you have the power to create for yourself, which is the Empress. Now that actually is a card, one of your cards, Taurus. It's a card that's ruled by Venus, and you share this energy, the Empress, with Libra. So that card does represent you. There's a sense of almost like reconnecting to that Empress energy, reconnecting to the feminine energy, the divine feminine, which is creation, which is, again, holding space. Instead of initiating and pushing, which is divine masculine, this is holding space and knowing that you have everything needed to create, and that the universe will actually give you the tools and the ingredients needed to bring into your life what you hold space for. So let's see. Let's get the last couple cards out here, and then I'll pull some additional clarifiers, and we'll get even deeper into this message. But there is a sense here of, again, freeing yourself from being locked in a prison of the pain of the past, or just of a negative mental, this would be like somebody who just can't fully commit to a new relationship because they're stuck in the building with their ex, with the memory of their ex. That could be very much something like that. This could be someone who cannot jump into a new career path because they are stuck in the memory of their past failed attempt, or they're stuck in the memory of even, this can be actually sometimes where the Three of Swords can be like generational pain as well, where someone is afraid to maybe pick up a different career path because they watched their own parents struggle in some capacity. And so you felt like, well, I have to do the opposite because I don't want to end up like my mom or dad, or I have to work harder or earn more money because I don't want that. And there's something here about possibly even releasing generational pain and wounding that might be coming forward, preventing you from taking this leap. Now with the Three of Cups and the Princess of Wands, which is also the Page of Wands, here it is again. There is a sense, Three of Cups, celebration, union with others, connecting with tribes and like-minded people, community. And then we have the Page of Wands again, and that's that freedom-loving child. That's the individual who just wants to go out there. They're curious. They want to play with their passion. They want to share it with the world. This is a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, and there's a lot of people, I feel, who also want to come in and celebrate with you, Taurus. There is a support system out here for you, and it's waiting. I feel like for some of you, and it depends again on the cycle you've gone through, with death coming up as your secondary underlying energy, this does say that there has been a long breaking down period of a version of yourself, because death speaks to the cycles of death and rebirth. So we all go through that many times over in our experience. It also speaks to a lot of times an ego death. Like when I see it come up in this kind of capacity, there is a sense of an ego death, of leaving a version of yourself that you had, again, told a story around, had connected to, that was probably coded in the pain of the past. And slowly but surely things happened in your life to start to break down that version of the self, so that a new version, which is the Empress, when we think of the Empress, when we think of Venus, when we think of both, it's kind of interesting with both Taurus and Libran energy. So Taurus is spring energy. This is growth. This is that kind of abundance. And Libra is all about getting closer to fall, right? Fall with, reaping of the harvest. Now, technically that's Virgo, but there's still that sense of kind of the beginning of life, and then fall when things are actually, we get to enjoy the beauty of death when you think about it in that capacity. The leaves turning before the tree finally sheds them. And there's that kind of beautiful, again, cyclical element of a version of us has to pass away before a new version can happen. Same thing with if we're calling in something, if we're holding space for something new in our life, we have to release something first. So you very clearly been already going through this process, and that could have felt very exhausting. It could have felt like you were losing a lot, or there was a struggle, or you were pushing. And now there's a sense of it's time to jump into the new. You get to leave that baggage behind. You finally get to almost like shed that skin, Taurus. You get to shed that snake skin of who you once were that you've outgrown. And now it's springtime. You are spring personified, Taurus. So keep that in mind. There's a sense here of really getting, again, into your own energy. So let's dive in here. Pull some additional clarifiers. First going to pull some cards to see what this Three of Swords is all about. There is a sense right now, just have fun. This is a time of play. It's a time of play. Maybe that's part of the past version of yourself. Maybe you had to be ultra responsible. Maybe you had to be the workhorse in a situation. And it can be hard when all of a sudden you wake up one day and realize, Queen of Swords, the Hanged Man, I'm not the workhorse, or I don't have to work this hard. I actually have a bunch of money in the bank now. I'm not, again, the struggling person who is working and saving and trying to get to a certain level. I've already achieved that. It can be the same thing in just a change of life, maybe like you were in the middle of family stuff and you were constantly having to take care of the family and working and all these things together. And then all of a sudden things ease up a little bit. Maybe your children are older. They've left the nest, something along those lines. And you realize, wow, I've got a lot of time in my schedule. There's something along those lines where you might have had to work and push for quite some time. And now there's a chance that says you have the freedom now to play. You have the freedom to hold space for the new you. And the new you is going to want new things. And I have a feeling that the Ten of Cups, when it's an internal energy, this is seeing it. It's like you're seeing, maybe emotionally connecting for the first time in a long time with a dream, with what you really want to experience in your life. And I think for many of you, it's like trying to admit that to yourself and then realizing, oh shoot, but in order for that to come in, I have to finally make that change. I have to shed that old skin. So we have the Ace of Cups, and then we have the Seven of Wands. There's a sense of incoming love. Ace of Cups is beautiful. It is new love. It's a fresh connection to the self as well. I always look at the Ace of Cups as an opportunity in this next cycle to reconnect with the spiritual version of yourself, with your soul, who you are, what you need, love of the self as well. But with the Seven of Wands, there's a sense that for many of you, you've been protecting your heart. You've been protecting there's an element of defending your actions, defending what you've, been doing. And maybe, again, with good reason. You might have had to have gone through a very difficult cycle where you did have to defend yourself continually to other people, be it in a workplace, be it in your personal life. But there's a chance now where for some of you, if you stay in that defensive energy, you're going to miss out on new opportunities for love, connection, and a reconnection to the self, which is beautiful. So let's see about the Fool. What does Taurus need to know about the Fool energy? Six of Cups. I love it. There's almost a return to innocence that's coming through with this Six of Cups. There's a sense of making peace with the past. Ooh, and the Star. Beautiful. Yes, this is taking a leap, not towards a dream, but towards the dream. Six of Cups, the Star. This is like going back to the little innocent version of yourself and remembering what was the original dream. We can all get lost in our day-to-day life as we get older, and we start to, we go through kind of what life throws at us. It can also be where We get talked into things by other people. We get told that our dreams are naive or unrealistic. And then suddenly we sometimes get to these points in life where we have that opportunity to revisit that, to remember what that was. And we get the opportunity. I see it often with the Star and the Fool like this. There's a sense of destiny that maybe what did not happen in the past, you have a second chance to do it now, but you're the one that has to have the courage to take that leap. You're the one that has to have the courage to release the baggage. With the Six of Cups, this is not only going back to maybe an innocent version of yourself and kind of pulling that forward, but it can also be where we're making peace with the past. And we realize, yes, things happened. Yes, my parents were who they were. Yes, I might have made a wrong choice, but I have the opportunity to correct that now. And I can let the past be in the past, and I get to jump into the new future as the new version of myself. Beautiful, very empowering energy, Taurus. So let's see here with the Tower. Okay, yeah, we have the Four of Cups. This Tower is freeing you from kind of holding yourself out of the part. And here's the Page of Wands again. Okay, so you officially have the Page of Wands on the table 3 times, Taurus, which really speaks to, this is saying the part of you that's been trapped in the Tower with the Devil is your inner child, this inner version of yourself that wants to go out and have fun. It would almost be like, imagine being stuck in a room with a little kid, imagine like a 6-year-old or younger, and this little kid, all they want to do is go out and have fun. And they're looking out the window and they're like, oh, I wish I could go out and just do that and have fun doing this. And yet, there's someone in the room telling them, well, no, you can't go outside. You just got to stay in here because it's safe in here. It could be dangerous outside. You could get sick. You could get hurt. And the kid's like, oh, okay. All right. But then every once in a while, the kid goes over to the window again and looks out, and he sees maybe like the neighbor kids playing across the street. And he's like, oh, I'd love to go play with them. I always wanted to ride a bike like that. And the other person in the room's like, yeah, but you could fall on that bike. Those kids could be mean. Don't even think about it. And that's kind of the Four of Cups here. The Four of Cups is someone who is bored. There's a malaise, that comes through with this. It's also when someone feels like they're kind of looking at, maybe I often look at it as somebody kind of on the outside looking, or on the inside looking out, or on the outside looking in. Kind of that feeling of, I want to join the party, but I can't, or I'm too afraid to, or I don't know how to. And there's this beautiful sense of liberation from that, Taurus, of saying it's time to join the party. It's time. The world, yes, can be a scary place, but there's a lot of love and support waiting for you. And the Three of Cups coming in on the other side speaks to that. That's the 3 cups the individual in the Four of Cups here is looking at. He's looking at the 3 of Cups while holding his own cup back. And there's a sense of, it's time to go out there, Taurus. It's time to start connecting. It's time to start relying on a community, knowing that there's going to be that support the more that you step into the new version of yourself, the more that you embrace this Empress energy. And again, for those of you who are masculine or identify as male, absolutely you have this energy within yourself. That creativity, the holding space for what you want. So we have the 3 of Cups clarifying the 3 of Cups with the 10 of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. Love it. There's a sense here for some of you actually, where there could be, there's almost like a true change in perspective coming in here, Taurus, for you. That, another one of your cards in the tarot is the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is all about money. It's the individual who knows their self-worth. They're not going to put time or energy towards something that they don't feel they can get a return on their investment from. And that can be a person who's really, managing their finances, managing their time, working hard. There's that sense, with the King of Pentacles of just focusing so much on the physical, so much on the money you have, so much on the house you have and the possessions and all of that. And there's like a sudden realization here with the King of Swords and the 10 of Coins, the 10 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, that true wealth comes from community, comes from connection, comes from sharing all that you have with others. The King of Swords is coming in to kind of tell the truth of this, to stand in that power, to stand in the authority. This could even be for some of you where you actually have the ability to, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of a strange thing, but it's almost like for some of you, you might have a lot of money in the bank, or you might have something that you can actually donate. You could have a lot of time to give to others, and there might be a realization in that. Because the King of Swords can also be a mentor, a teacher, someone who is, very knowledgeable. They stand in the power of what they know. And so there could almost be here with that in the Ten of Pentacles that there's almost like a new legacy or a new wealth of knowledge that you can actually share with others that will be celebrated. And that could actually be helpful to a community or helpful to bringing in the right people. It's very interesting. But I also see, just in a general sense, there's almost like a reevaluation of possessions versus connection and sharing, and having those times of connection with others. It could be like realizing, oh my gosh, I prioritized money for so long, but the true wealth is my family. The true wealth is the time that I get to spend with my family, something along those lines. Okay, and now let's see what the Page of Wands looks like. Let's clarify the Page of Wands. We have the Five of Wands. Okay. For some of you, this could be going out and practicing a talent in a healthy, competitive way. It could almost be like someone who's realizing, like, hey, I used to be really good at... Yeah, on the Page of Swords. Yeah, you're getting into that energy of being curious. This could be someone who's like ready to go back out onto the dating scene, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna make it a game. I'm gonna have fun doing this. Instead of, being serious or talking myself out of it or bringing my wounding into it, I'm gonna say, you know what? I know the right person's out there for me. And I know that, overall, even if I don't meet the love of my life, I know that in just connecting with others, I might meet a new friend. I might, find something new to do. There's that sense with the Five of Wands and the Page of Swords. It can also be where, for some of you, where do you kind of either let too many other voices come in to prevent you from... Because the Five of Wands can be kind of chaotic energy. It can be where there's a lot of people in the mix. It can be a lot of voices, like too many cooks in the kitchen. But it can also be too where there can be a level of unhealthy competition where you're highly competitive. You want to earn something. This could be like where you push and push and push at work, and you want to be the top person, or you want to be the top earner, or you want to be, whatever it is. And there's almost like a sense of like trying to figure out, like, why do I do that? It's not fun. It's only burning me out. I mean, there could be a sense for some of you that that's kind of coming out. It can also be, though, I do get the feeling more, though, for many of you, it's almost like with the Page of Swords, getting into this curious energy of trying to see the truth of what this kind of reconnection, Page of Wands, a reconnection to a passion, or that feeling of, I want to have more of this in my life. This was fun for me. It could be like you rediscovering like an athletic hobby. Maybe you used to rock climb or play soccer or something like that. And you're like, I really want to join a group again. I loved doing that. And I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm not going to go get uber competitive. I'm just going to join and have fun. I'm going to join an intramural soccer league and I'm going to see who I meet from that. There's something along those lines, or I'm going to just go out and start applying at different places because, what the heck? Like, maybe I can actually do something different than what I've been doing for the past 15 years. It could be something along those lines where there's just a sense of like, kind of releasing the heaviness of the past cycle, releasing, again, fresh look on your story. There's a fresh perspective, a releasing of an old version of the self, an opportunity to free yourself, to connect, and to allow this fun, childish version within to come out and just, again, play with life. I think there hasn't been a lot of play for a long time, and Taurus, now is the time. And we have the Two of Coins, the Two of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Third underlying energy, which is someone who is very wrapped up in just the day-to-day tasks. This is someone who is just kind of going through the motions, and then they wake up and they do it all again. Now, it can also sometimes speak to asking a choice, that when we have two pentacles and we're constantly juggling them, so this would be like trying to either, you're trying to do a side hustle with your 9 to 5 and you're trying to make that work, or you're, trying to prioritize your family over work. There can be that sense of like, it might be time to choose one and prioritize it. This could be like saying, I'm going to step back from working because my family really needs me now. And that it feels more like play to me. It's like picking what feels more like play. What is more in alignment with the dream? Not a dream, the dream. When we look at Ten of Cups again, that is touching a little piece on heaven on earth. What would your perfect day look like? And if you say, well, that would be like me spending as much time playing with my children as possible, well, then you might have to look in what capacity can you start to build more? How can you hold space for more of that in your life? Because there's the dream that's waiting to come in for you guys. And especially with the Ace of Cups and the Six of Cups, this is again a return to innocence for many of you through the realization of this dream. Beautiful energy, to be honest, but there's a sense of having to really look at your schedule with the Two of Pentacles and look at what feels more in alignment with you, what is more in alignment with the dream, with your heart's desire, and what feels more like fun and play. And how can you, again, get into that place of, it's almost like your soul is saying, you are the Empress. You can create for yourself what you'd like. You can create that experience for yourself. It's time to own that. It's almost like you had to go through that death cycle from Libra season up through winter into that kind of darkness with the faith that spring would come again. And again, Taurus, you are spring. So let's pull a final card here. I get that feeling from many of you that maybe you're just realizing you're in the spring of your life. Now, this could happen at any age. You don't have to be a young person to feel like you're in the spring or the prime of your life. You could literally have just recently maybe retired and you're realizing, oh my gosh, who am I without my long time career path? And you're realizing, wow, I have pushed away so much in connection with others because I was so focused on job, and now I don't have that anymore. And now I can focus on what feels like fun. It could be something as simple as that. But I do get the feeling many of you you are realizing the value, 10 of Pentacles with the 3 of Cups. You're realizing the value in connection. You're realizing the value of spending time with others, of finding the right community and support, possibly, supporting others as well. Again, there could be something where you realize your knowledge can be of use. For some of you, the knowledge you have, the experience, could actually be your legacy. For others. This could be like stepping up truly into a mentorship role or into a teaching capacity or into someone who is going to, be very community outreach oriented, something like that. Okay, so let's see here. So we have 3 cards that came out. We have number 44, which I always love that number. It's always, for me, the number of angelic timing and protection. It can be the number 2 of building new firm foundations that are coming from a place of personal empowerment and empowered leadership. Now, the 7th ray of ritual, order, and ceremony. We have number 19, an invitation to connect. And then we have number 13, trust in the plan. And the number 13 actually resonates with the death card in the tarot. That's also number 13. And there's that sense of scorpionic energy, death and rebirth. But death that then comes down and breaks down from 13 to number 4 in numerology, which is, again, building firm foundations. So you got a lot of foundational work. Number 19 breaks down to the number 10, further breaking down to the number 1 in numerology, and that is all about endings and beginnings. So again, that cyclical element coming through here again. So I'll read you just a short excerpt for each one of these since you have 3. We'll start. Maybe I should just get a a drink here of my tea. Okay, so we have number 44, the seventh ray of ritual, order, and ceremony. It says, when the gift of the seventh ray enters your life, something new is being formed, something that will benefit your world. There may be an increased interest in magic, ceremony, and ritual for healing purposes. Resonating with high-frequency violet light and the Archangel Zadkiel, the seventh ray also helps transmute energy from lower to higher frequency. It is a spiritual cleansing agent that allows the truth of spiritual freedom, empowerment, and choice to be seen and felt, restoring hope and joy to the heart. Oh, I love that. I'm going to read that last sentence because I feel like that's very important here. It says, it is a spiritual cleansing agent that allows the truth of spiritual freedom, empowerment, and choice to be seen and felt, restoring hope and joy to the heart. There's a sense here of you choosing what you want to bring into your life at this time, Taurus. Could be, again, a releasing of a story that kind of overshadowed that. And you get a chance now to really step into that place of hope and joy. Okay, so an invitation to connect, number 19. It says, oh, excuse me, I'm not tired or bored. Sometimes I just yawn. So it says, love exists throughout our universe. Many loving beings that do not belong to the human race exist in worlds beyond the earthly realm. Among these are those who are aware of the spiritual plight of humanity and are willing and able to help us move forward. Unlike those who close their minds because they fear the unknown, you have an open mind and an open, receptive heart. Beings from other worlds recognize you as a receptive channel for their unconditionally loving assistance in this world. You will both benefit from this individually and help the planet. So you're being offered an invitation to connect. Now, for those of you who do, kind of like myself, believe in different dimensions and different levels of just things beyond our level of knowledge in this experience, this could truly be like it's time for you to connect openly with spirit guides or with angels or with just the divine connection with God. And there's a sense of really opening yourself up, and there may be something that comes through that really shows you, again, almost like showing you the image of what you have the possibility to create in your experience, or getting you closer to that remembering of the dream. For those of you who do not believe in that, I sometimes take this card as really resonating more with realizing that there are people in your life, or just people in our experience, that the more we choose to keep our heart open and understand that we may have aspects of our experience where they can be of greater service in a different capacity, and we're not aware of it, just to kind of leave ourselves open to that there may be someone who comes in out of left field that says, you said that you used to do X, Y, and Z. Well, have you thought about, maybe joining our group? We would love for you to help in this capacity, or we would love to, give you some seed money for something that we can see really resonates with you when, we see a lot of your experience. There can be something along those lines too. There's people who, the more you connect with others from that place of openness, a place of true, how can I put this? Optimism, that sense of hope. I'm going to connect with others, and I'm going to hope and have faith that these people are going to be kind, that they're going to support me, that they're going to lead me in the right direction. And that's kind of where this invitation to connect, it's like almost like it's time for you to connect from the new version of yourself now, Taurus. And then we have number 13, trust in the plan. And yes, so it's time to, here's that faith. It says, in preparation for radical growth, there can be temporary disorder and chaos. While the mind may worry that something is going wrong, the spirit knows that this is a way for the old to disassemble so the new can be formed. Although you may feel out of control during such times, you do not need to resist the process. There is no need to attempt to impose your own sense of order upon the greater plan. You do not need to seek solutions, for there is no problem here in need of solving. What has been is being cleared away in preparation for the next chapter in your life. Have faith. All is well. And I will leave you with that, Taurus, because it truly is. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book your own personal reading to bring illumination and light to an area of your life that needs a little more clarity, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next illumination reading. Bye, Taurus.